Hey, I'm Kathleen Jasper, and today we're talking about how to become a teacher. I get this question all the time, obviously, because this is my specialty. So I'm going to go through the major steps to becoming a teacher in most states. Let's get started. All right. So, first thing you need to know about becoming a teacher is that education is typically left to the states. The state decides what certification exams you need to take, what credentials you need to have, and how long you have to do all that to become a teacher. So, the first thing you want to do is go to your state website, Department of Education, and search somewhere on there will be teacher certification or becoming a teacher and all of that. You want to really get to know that web page and everything there because every state is different. They use different exams. They have different requirements. They all sort of follow the same thing. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But every state is different. And if you're just like piecing together things from the internet that you hear people say, that's not the way to go because you're going to end up spending money you don't need to spend, studying for exams you don't need to study for, and then having to do it all over again once you figure out what's going on with the state. So your first stop is the state website. Now, on the state website, there might be a portal for you to upload your resume and your credentials and your transcripts and things like that. Sometimes it is on the district website. Either way, you have to register with the state. So the next thing you need to do is figure out how to get credentialed and how to move those credentials into the state website. Here's the thing. You have to have a bachelor's degree from an accredited university in something to be a teacher. Now, some of you went to the College of Education and you got a teaching degree in elementary ed or maybe secondary social science. Okay, that's great. You have a bachelor's degree in that area. Some of you, like me, are career changers. I got a bachelor's in English. My undergraduate degree is in English writing from Florida State University. So the first thing you need to do is go to your State Department of Education website and figure out how you prove that you have that. And 9 times out of 10, it's an official transcript. So, and it'll all be listed on your State Department of Education website. You need official transcripts from an accredited university. And so I basically contacted Florida State University. They have a whole department for transcripts. They do this all the time for different types of jobs, teaching, everything. People are asking for transcripts all the time. So you put in a request, you probably have to pay. I don't know how much, it depends on the university. And they send an official transcript. You can't just download it from the internet and go, oh, here's my transcripts. They want an official transcript typically mailed to them. So you would do that. Then once the Department of Education receives your transcripts, they will update the portal. So let's talk about the portal really quick. When you apply in most states for teaching certification, you have to input your name, your age, all of your information into a portal, and you basically start the process. It'll usually say apply here on your district website or on your State Department website. And when you click apply here, it takes you into that portal because the state has to credential you. You're not just applying for a job off the street. It's a very strict process in pretty much every state. Okay. So you start off apply now, you put in your name, your social, all of your information. Then you contact your education institution. Mine was Florida State. Yours might be, whatever. And you ask for those official transcripts. When the state gets those, a person opens them up and says, oh, I've received the official transcripts. They then update that part of the portal. And that'll be like a check or a dot or something that you have done those requirements. You have sent in your official transcripts from an accredited university in the United States to become a teacher. Now, I get a lot of questions on, well, I got my degree in another country. You need to contact your state. I don't know the answers to those questions. Certainly, people have degrees from other institutions outside of the United States. They may or may not be accredited and they may or may not be accepted. The only people who can answer that questions are those who work in the Department of Education under the certification process. They can tell you, yes, this university meets the criteria. Please send the official transcripts, or no, you're going to have to take some supplemental courses here in the United States in order to meet that. Now, the next part varies from state to state, but I'm just going to give you a quick sort of synopsis. Once you've uploaded your transcripts, you are eligible to become a teacher. The state says, okay, I'm going to use myself. Kathleen Jasper has filled out the information in the portal, and she has sent her official transcripts from Florida State University, which shows that she has a bachelor's degree from an accredited university. She is now eligible to become a teacher. She's not a teacher yet. She's eligible. They will then send you sort of a list of things that you have to do in order to become a teacher. Now, if I got my degree in education, let's say for elementary education, I am then eligible to become an elementary ed teacher because I already have the stuff that I need. You've probably already taken the exams because it's part of your program and you already have a degree in teaching. So you're going to sort of be fast tracked through the process. Someone like me, a career changer, it's called an alternative route. I got a degree in something else. I am eligible now to become certified in an alternative route, which means I'm probably going to have to take some additional classes to supplement the missing teaching classes that I didn't get in just my English degree. I didn't take teaching courses. And I am going to have to take certification exams. Everybody has to take those. So with the certification exams, along with my extra supplemental teaching courses, and the district might also have some sort of new teacher program I have to take. All of that together will then get me my professional teaching license. It is a process and can take up to 3 years. Some states make you do it in a year, some 2 years, and 3 years tends to be the max out. Although every state is different, you have to figure that out. So they will send you a letter of eligibility in a lot of states. It might be called something else. And it says, hey, you're eligible to be a teacher. Number one, you need to take some accredited classes in these areas. Usually it's like classroom management, teaching, reading. They have a list based on what they want. Typically, every college has those classes offered in the College of Education. They know that a lot of career changers in your area are going to be coming through. So at your state college, they will offer them. At universities, they will offer them. And some school districts, if they're big enough, will offer them. My school district is a huge school district in Florida. They offered those classes for us. And because there was a teacher shortage, they paid for them. Now, that may not be the case in your district. It just depends. But they're like a package because the state requires it for all career changers. Typically, every university has them in like a little package that you can be like, hey, I'm going through alternative certification. I need these courses, and they usually have them all set up for you. And you just take them at your state college, local university, wherever you can get them, or at your district. And then finally, the certification tests, the exams. You're not getting out of these. I don't care how high your GPA was. Some states allow you to skip 1 or 2 of these exams depending on your degree, but most states require you to take them all. Typically, you will take a basic skills test like the Praxis Core. That is your reading, writing, math, and grammar. You have to take these exams to show that you have basic skills. These are the same exams 10th graders have to take in order to graduate high school. So they are not asking you to do anything more than they would ask a 10th grader. So you need to have those skills. We have a lot of programs for that. Go down into the links below my website. We help people prepare for those. If you were someone like me who got your degree in English and you haven't seen some of these math problems in a long time, maybe factoring inequalities, things like that, you might need to brush up on some of these skills. But it's a basic skills test that really has nothing to do with teaching. It just shows the state that you do have the skills in reading, writing, and math, and you can then teach at that basic level. The next will be your subject area exam. This is often called the Praxis 2. The Praxis 1 is often called the basic skills test, the Praxis Core. The Praxis 2 is your subject area, although they don't refer to it that way anymore because of the alternative route. Your subject area exam, and it may or may not be Praxis depending on what state you're in, is the subject area, like maybe it's a math exam, maybe it's social studies, maybe it's, middle school social studies. That is the subject area you want to teach. So it's specific to that. If it's elementary education, it's that 5001 test or 7001. Or if you're in another state and they use a different test, it's that. It's to certify you in that grade level, in that subject area. And then finally, some states require a third exam, which is an exam that governs the overall teaching profession, has everything to do with ethics, classroom management, how to use data to make instructional decisions. It's sort of like an overarching teacher exam that covers all grade levels. It's called the PPR in Texas. It's called the Principles of Learning and Teaching for Praxis states. Every state has a test like this, and many of them require you to take this test along with the others. So those are the 3 exams you will have to take for most states. Some states only require 2, some states require 1. It just depends. You have to figure that out at the state level. There are 50 states in the United States, and they all require their own thing. So figure that out on your specific state Department of Education website. Now, really quickly, once you have that letter of eligibility, and maybe you have not taken all of your classes yet, and you might not have taken all of your exams yet, you can still apply to become a teacher. You can work on your certification in most states while you are teaching. So, for example, when I started teaching at the high school level, I had my bachelor's and I had already taken a couple of certification exams. I was like 1 certification test away from that being done, but I still had to take my supplemental courses in teaching that the district was actually providing. I didn't go to the local university. The district actually provided those. But I was still hired as a full-time teacher with my letter of eligibility, and I had 3 years to complete all of those requirements in order to become professionally certified. If I missed the mark and I did not complete it within the 3 years, I had to be terminated. I completed everything in the first year, and I highly recommend you do that. Please do not put it off. If you are hired on what a lot of states call a temporary certificate or an eligibility letter, meaning we will hire you and allow you to work towards your certification while you are working, as long as you do that within this allotted time, I recommend you do it as quickly as possible. It is very stressful, and I've seen teachers do this, where they put it off until the last semester of that 3rd year, and it completely derails them, and a lot of teachers don't make it. You might need additional time to take some of these certification exams. They're not easy. They only have a 50% pass rate. So you may have to take it 1, 2, 3. Some people have to take it more than that, and that's okay. But start early, get going on those requirements. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck at the end, and you could run the risk of being terminated and then having to start all over again if you want to become a teacher. So get moving on those requirements as soon as possible. First things first, you're going to go to your state Department of Education website. Wherever you are teaching, go to the certification department and look to see if there's an Apply Now button. That button should take you to a portal where you just fill out the basic information about yourself. Then you ask for your transcripts from your accredited university where you got your bachelor's degree. If you do not have a bachelor's degree yet, you need to go get one. They will not hire you without one. You ask them to send it to your certification department at your Department of Education. There will be step-by-step instructions to do that. Don't worry. And they send them over to you. Then you receive some sort of letter of eligibility. Some states call it a temporary certificate where you are now eligible to teach. However, you have to meet these specific credentials before 3 years, 1 year, 2 years, depending on what state you are in. You get hired from a principal like I did at a high school, and you start working on those extra classes you have to take, those certification exams, and anything else outlined in that letter. And you check those off as you go through. You continuously check that portal, and you will see that they will start to, show that you're meeting those benchmarks or meeting those requirements as you move through the process. And then at the end, you receive a nice certificate that says you are a certified teacher in the state you are in. And then you're good. You just have to renew your certificate every 5 years. Some is 3 years, depending on the state. And you do that through professional development. It's very easy to do. You just stay on top of your certificate. Now, I cannot emphasize this enough. Every state is different. Please check with your state. I don't know every requirement for every state. In the comments, inevitably, I'll get, what about New Jersey? What about Florida? What about Texas? What about Massachusetts? I don't know. You have to go to the State Department of Education website in your state. And I would also check your district because they're linked up to the state. They make sure that whatever they're telling you in the district, it's coming straight from the state website. So check both areas. You may have a really good district that has a robust certification website. Other districts don't. That's why it's important you always double check with the state. All right, hope that helps today. Please put in any questions in the comments below. We will do our best to answer those questions. And good luck on your journey in becoming a teacher. It is a process, but in my opinion, totally worth it. Have a great day.